Hello there and welcome to another tier list ranking. This time we're going to go through the Dalek designs because Daleks are probably my favourite Doctor Who villain out there. In fact, they are my favourite Doctor Who villain. They're absolutely amazing. I absolutely love Daleks. Ever since I was a young kid, I've always loved them. And so I'm basically going to go through almost, and I can repeat almost, all the Dalek designs that are featured on this specific tier list. I'll be going through what I like and what I don't like about certain Dalek designs, and hopefully going through them in chronological order of appearance. So, from the Daleks to their most recent appearance, or at least recent as in when this was created. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy this video. As per usual, S tier is the best of the best, and of course F tier is the worst. So starting off with, we have the very original Dalek designs from the Daleks, which is the design that's at them all. It's a very simple design. Obviously, the silver with the blue orbs. The middle section is just a plain, panel here and there. And the lights are little light bulbs, like quite literally little light bulbs. For first design, I think they're pretty decent. I really like their look, obviously, and this is obviously the design that, inspired future generations of Daleks. So obviously there's a lot of pedigree there. However, there are a few issues. I do not like the the midsection. I don't really like the plain look at all, but obviously this was their first attempt with the Daleks, so there is some leeway. That said, their size is also a little bit off-putting. These Daleks are so minuscule, like they're so tiny looking. And as a result of their tiny looking appearance, I tend to dislike their design a little bit. But at the same time, these are the very first original Dalek designs, and they did a really great job. It looks great, it looks amazing. The size isn't great. I'm going to put it in B tier because it is the design that started it all. And there is obviously that pedigree, but it ain't perfect. This midsection looks a little bit off, and I don't like the size. So the next set of Daleks are the Daleks that appeared in the Invasion of Earth. Now, these Daleks are a little bit of an improvement to the previous Daleks in the sense that they're more elevated. So they have this bumper car-like bottom, and honestly, I like that design a lot. However, and these are undone because they got this really stupid satellite dish on the back of them, and it really looks awkward. Like, I remember collecting the figurines of Daleks. I remember having the Invasion of Earth set, and I remember just thinking how stupid those satellite dishes looked, which is a shame because when you look at the Dalek forward-facing, it doesn't look too bad. Obviously, it's still got that very plain, midsection. It's not, got the grill bar look. And yeah, it does look a little bit awkward. Some of the Daleks do have this sort of silvery white eye, as opposed to the modern most Daleks have like a black eye. But some of the Daleks, like more leader type Daleks, they have like a silver eye, which is always really interesting in my opinion. The drones, they look okay, I guess. I obviously love the bumper car sort of base. I think that looks great. I love how they're more elevated. The satellite dish does ruin it for me. However, this is the first time we have variations of Daleks, in the sense of the Supreme Black Dalek and I'm going to say it's the Commander, the Controller Dalek, the one which is black and silver. And the black and silver one is really unique design, and I absolutely love the look of this Dalek. I love that it is not as powerful as not as like high ranking as the Supreme Dalek, and you can tell by the color scheme and design, but also, it's still more powerful than the drone Dalek. And as for the Supreme Dalek, I love the look of the Supreme Dalek. The Supreme Dalek really looks so good. And this is where like the midsection actually makes the design look better in comparison to the other midsection, I should say. Because the midsection, and I think it's mostly because of the dark black colour of the actual, where the gun and everything is, looks so nice. It really does. And I think the black colour really looks nice with the silver and obviously the blue orbs. I think that looks like a great contrast with each other. So if I were to rank them, the Supreme Dalek would probably go towards I would say towards A. I mean, it does have the satellite dish, and I don't like the satellite dish. And I do like the sort of controller Dalek as well. That's just below the Supreme Dalek. As for the drone, I'm going to put it slightly higher than the Dalek, the Dalek's Dalek. But nonetheless, we've got the movie Daleks, because of course the first movie came out before the Chase, and the first movie had interesting color choices for the Daleks, because obviously this is the 60s, everything's so colorful and whimsy and zany, and I think the color schemes aren't that bad. I like the blue drone Daleks. I love the red Dalek. You know, I'm a sucker when it comes to red Daleks. So spoiler alert, I am a huge sucker when it comes to red Daleks, and the black Supreme Dalek looks fantastic. However, there is a bit of an issue with all three Daleks, and that is one too many colors. You see, all three of the Daleks have three different types of colours. With the blue drone Dalek, you have a dark blue, you have a slightly lighter blue, and you have a gold colour. And with the red Dalek, you have the red colour, the gold colour, and a black colour. Well, the Supreme Dalek, with the black Supreme Dalek, has the black colour, the gold colour, and a silver colour. Now, for the black Supreme Dalek, it looks amazing. I absolutely love the black Supreme Dalek's look. That is just gorgeous to look at. And the red Dalek, I love the red Dalek, and I even have a toy of this specific Dalek here, although it doesn't look exactly the same. I do love it, but the black orbs don't look good on it. I feel like they should have just made it red and gold rather than red, gold, and black, which for me just kind of ruins it a bit. As for the drone Dalek, I don't really like the gold midsection. The gold midsection should have been blue. It should have just been blue, or darker blue with a lighter blue. It shouldn't have just had gold there. That just looks really off. And I know that it's consistent with the other higher ranking Daleks, but, you know, these are the drone Daleks. They're not meant to be as important as the higher ranking Daleks. I don't really like that section at all. I do think that kind of ruins the Dalek a bit. However, and this is something that I will say, I love that they are using the bumper car design, but they also have like the bumper car sort of base plate. It's slightly smaller than the ones you see in Invasion of Earth. And it's used in such a way that it looks really well presentable, I should say, and it really looks good. And I do love the fact that these Daleks have much more bigger flashes, you know, the more cone-shaped flashes, as opposed to the, small little light bulbs or stubs, which a lot of the 70s and 60s Daleks had, which I've never really liked, if I'm perfectly honest. But these sort of Daleks are the first ones to have like the proper, cylinder shaped flashes, which look so good on them. However, they are multicolored, and it is a little bit daft, in my opinion. I feel like maybe making it plain would have been decent, but hey-ho. So for the blue Dalek, I'm just going to put it in B tier. It's my favourite of those sort of Daleks, but it's not as great. The red Dalek, I'm going to put it just below the black Supreme Dalek. And the Supreme Dalek is my first S tier Dalek, because I really love the look of this Dalek. Like, unlike the other two Daleks, that one actually utilises the three colour schemes quite well, and in such a way that it looks pretty good. Speaking of really good looking Daleks, we have the Chase Daleks, the Daleks that appear throughout the 60s, and these are designs that are perfected, in my opinion. Sure, they got rid of the bumper car base, but it doesn't matter because they fixed the problem with the midsection. You know, they got rid of the satellite dish, which looked awful, let's be honest, and they replaced it with the grille look, which is seen on Daleks even today. These sort of Daleks just look menacing when you see like some of these photos of whether it's the Evil of the Daleks or Power of the Daleks, for example. You see just this photo shoot of them like in the hallway, and they look so menacing. They look so brilliant. Like, these Daleks are really good looking Daleks. They're really good. However, their variations are significantly worse, in my opinion. I don't like the look of the Supreme Dalek, for example. The Supreme Dalek is just the same as the other Supreme Dalek. It's black. Although there has been some debate that it might have been red, not black, but, black and white, you can't tell. And the Supreme Dalek, the reason why I don't like it is, ironically enough, it's the midsection. The midsection, which I think is a massive improvement, kind of degrades the Black Dalek in particular, because I just don't like the contrast with the silver and the black. It should, I felt like they should have made the bars black for the Black Dalek as well. While the other variation is the Blue Dalek, because they decided to use some of the film props for Doctor Who, and these Daleks are awful. These Daleks are plain awful. Like, if you've seen a picture of them, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, these small pictures don't really do it any justice, but they have no base. They literally have no base. They're literally just on the ground. They have no lights. They are basically props, and they're so bad that they removed them from halfway through the serial. And they do have the other Daleks, the other Blue Daleks, which looks so much better when it's all compacted. And the reason for it is because they didn't like to use the bumper car base, because they wanted to get rid of it, because it was easier to drive around with the small scale base. But my God, they really butchered that one. I actually think the Chase Blue Daleks might go into F tier just by how bad they were. As for the Black Supreme Dalek, I'm going to put him in C tier. I think the midsection actually kind of ruined him in this case. I feel like the previous one looked so much better, mainly because of the darker colours, whereas this looks way too bright in the midsection, while it doesn't really contrast well. As for the main drone Dalek, this one goes into S tier. This is one of the best Dalek designs out there. It is perfection. Now, on to the second movie. Now, the second movie, in some ways, improved, but also didn't improve. So, the gold Dalek, quote-unquote, or yellow Dalek, I mean, it might depend on the quality of the picture, but I like how it's got yellow flashes compared to the other Daleks, but my God, I hate the look of the gold Dalek. It doesn't look very good. You can almost see the paint on it. And it's too light of a colour, in my opinion. It's also a really unnecessary Dalek compared to the other Daleks. At least with the red Dalek, it's more of a commander Dalek, while the black Dalek is the Supreme Dalek. The gold Dalek just isn't very good looking. I don't like the gold Dalek. The black Dalek has been butchered slightly, and once again, it's due to the midsection. I really don't like the silver black midsection. It doesn't look very good. It doesn't contrast well with the Dalek. I felt like they could have actually made it work if they made the midsection maybe, I don't know, gold. It's got gold orbs. Why not make it gold? However, you do have two absolutely phenomenal Daleks, and that is the drone Dalek, which looks absolutely amazing. This drone Dalek should have been the main Dalek in the TV show. I love the drone Dalek look in the movies. It looks so amazing. But the red Dalek is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. You can tell this Dalek is of higher power. The colours, they don't use 3 different colours for this one. They actually use red and silver, and it looks so gorgeous on this Dalek. It looks so amazing, and you can tell this is a high-ranking Dalek, the colour coordination, all that. I absolutely love the red Dalek. That might actually be one of my favourite red Dalek designs, and I'm actually putting that right at the top of S tier. I'm also putting the drone Dalek in S tier, not as high as the... Actually, I will put it slightly higher than the Chase Daleks. As for the yellow goldish Dalek, I really don't like it. He's probably going to go in E tier. I don't like that one. And the Supreme Dalek is going in D tier. I really think that was a missed opportunity there. However, we're about to leave this 60s, but first we have one more. And unfortunately, this tier list doesn't include the Emperor Dalek, but I would rank the Emperor Dalek on maybe A, B tier. But the Emperor Guards, now these Daleks look brilliant. I love the Emperor Guards. I love the Imperial Guards look, where you can tell these are a special type of Dalek with the black top heads, and I think that works so well for them. It's a subtle difference, but it's a difference that makes them look so sexy. I love the Imperial Guards. I think almost everyone loves the Imperial Guard Daleks. However, we're about to get onto something quite controversial. The 70s. And the 70s had a different type of Dalek. They had the gunmetal Dalek, the gold Dalek, the gold and black Supreme Dalek, and the silver Dalek. And also the slightly grey Dalek. Actually, no, I think that was 80s maybe. I don't know. But I do not like the gunmetal Daleks. I'm going to say that right now. I hate the gunmetal Daleks. I've always disliked the 70s look for the Daleks. They are such... Like, I don't like the colour scheme they chose. Like, there's sort of like navy boat sort of destroyer colour. I hate it. I also detest with a passion the pupils. I hate the pupil look for Daleks. Pupils, it makes the Daleks look silly. It makes the Daleks look goofy. You know, it's funny because Sidney Newman said something along the lines of he doesn't want robots or googly-eyed monsters. And what do? They basically put a googly eye on a Dalek, and it looks so stupid. You know, I own quite a few like old Dalek toys, and I got a red Dalek, and it uses the pupil look, and it looks so bad. Like how, like, the 60s Dalek looks so good because the eye is so emotionless. It's just staring at you and you can't really see what's inside. It loses the mystery. The pupil makes it look like a cartoon. I detest that sort of Dalek. And if I'm perfectly honest, I do not like the gunmetal Daleks. However, they are popular. And I'll be perfectly honest, I'll put them on high D tier. Because a part of me doesn't like it, but another part of me thinks, you know what? It's not too bad, and it does fit the War Machine aesthetic, even if it does have like the blue rings around the eye. The Gold Commander Dalek, on the other hand, I really like the Gold Commander Dalek. I like how that looks. You know, for me, the Gold Commander Dalek is probably, you know, A tier. It's a really good looking Dalek. You can tell this Dalek is, you know, of a higher command. And the Supreme Dalek, I love the look of the Supreme Dalek, but it does have one fatal flaw, and that is the eye. The eye looks kind of stupid. The eye flashes alongside the flashes on the side of the dome, and whenever it talks, the eye flashes basically, and that looks dumb. I won't lie, but at least it's not got a pupil. Which is a shame because I do like the look of this Dalek, and I think it is just so good looking. Probably might edge it there, but that's about it. Might move that one there. And of course, Death to the Daleks. Death to the Daleks is interesting because I really like this Dalek design. You know, I went on how much I detest the gunmetal look, the, you know, navy boat destroyer color scheme for the Daleks, but the silver look looks so much better for the Daleks, in my opinion. It's got that sci-fi look, and you got that sort of like sci-fi tank with a mutant inside. I love that look for the Daleks, and it's a shame it only made one on-screen appearance because it's clear that they were trying to go to that direction, but they never really got the chance to, and mainly because the props weren't very good, if I recall. It's just a shame, really, because I think this Dalek looks great. This Dalek does look decent. It just was let down by a few things, and if I'm perfectly honest, there is another problem. The midsection does look a little bit off. Like, if you look at the Death to the Daleks midsection, it doesn't look right. There's something about it. It looks very flimsy, and the middle bit between the gun and the plunger, it looks like there should have been something there. So yeah, I like it, but it's not brilliant. I'm gonna put it round below the blue Dalek. So I argue this is the 80s. So I don't remember when Destiny of the Daleks came out. Was it 79 or was it 80? I don't remember. It's one of the, might still be in the 70s, but yeah, I don't really like these Daleks. These Daleks suck. The color scheme looked awful. You know, they looked. You know, when you look at the when you look at the Destiny of the Daleks, they look like the paint is still on them. Like, they look genuinely awful. I'm tempted to put it into F tier. I genuinely dislike that sort of Dalek. I really don't like the Destiny of the Daleks, and Destiny of the Daleks, for me, is one of the single worst Doctor Who stories ever made. I absolutely hate it with a passion. So now we're definitely on to the 80s, and the 80s brought some improvements to the main Dalek line. For example, they have like a white bit around the eye grate, but they don't have this Dalek on here, unfortunately. But they do have the Supreme Dalek, and the Supreme Dalek is an interesting Dalek because it's a good colour scheme, and I like it. However, that skirt is very awkward. The Dalek skirt for the Supreme Dalek in Resurrection of the Daleks looks really awkward. It's like, it sort of like sticks out on all ends, and the white bulbs are, for whatever reason, even larger than normal, and it looks really off-putting. It's a shame because it's a good-looking Dalek in terms of the colour scheme, but the shape of it just looks off. I'm going to put it round here because I just can't find myself defending it. It's kind of naff, in my opinion. It's a shame because it looks good design-wise. Bottom half doesn't look very good. So the first set of Renegade Daleks, these ones have like a black bit in the middle, and they are, a lot more grey. They've sort of gone back to the gunmetal look a little bit, but honestly, these ones aren't too bad. But again, I don't really like the gunmetal looking Daleks, but it is slightly better than the previous lot. The first set of not Imperial, it is Imperial, but necro Daleks. The necro Daleks are interesting because I like that they're trying to push forward with the Dalek design and move on. And I like how the light bulbs for the Imperial Daleks, the necro Daleks, are slightly more pointier and a lot more larger. I like that. And I love the white and gold colour scheme. That looks so good. But there are a few things that seem a bit off. For starters, the base plate is black. The eye stalk is black. And the plunger is black. And when you have it compared to the other Imperial Dalek later on, it doesn't look as good. It looks like it's just a recolor of the normal Dalek, which is a shame because I do think this is a good Dalek design. But again, it could have been better. I'm going to put it just below the Resurrection Supreme Dalek. The glass Dalek, the see-through Dalek, a very unique design, and I absolutely love the look of this thing. It sort of makes no real sense in the context of Doctor Who, but I like it. It looks cool. I'm just going to put it in B tier. Slightly higher than that, around there maybe. Like, the glass Dalek just is such a unique design. It's such an odd design, but it's so unique, and I think really what sells it is the lighting, the bluish, cool lighting that is glowing around it. It looks so sci-fi, so atmospheric. It looks so brilliant. But now we're on to probably the best looking of the grey Daleks, which is the Remembrance of the Daleks, Renegade Daleks. These Daleks look great. I'm going to say that right now. It's weird because Remembrance of the Daleks uses a more greyer looking Renegade Dalek, but it looks so gorgeous. It looks so amazing. And I think what helps it is the more bulkier design they gave these sort of Daleks, which only really appeared in Remembrance, which is a shame, but the bulkier look for the Daleks really sells it. I genuinely think this is the best of the Grey Daleks by a long shot, and I actually think this might go right into the high B tier. The Supreme Dalek, it's interesting because the Supreme Dalek once again uses the silver midsection, but it accompanies that with silver orbs and silver rings, and it looks so good. It genuinely does. It looks almost like a police Dalek. I don't know why, but whenever I see this Dalek, I always think of like a police Dalek. I don't know. That is such a good looking Supreme Dalek. It may not be my favourite Supreme Dalek of all time, but it is definitely a good looking Supreme Dalek, and I won't lie. It's very good. But then we have the gorgeous Imperial Daleks. I love the Imperial Daleks. They, the whole civil war between the Daleks and the Renegades and the Imperials, they really made the color choice, brilliant in my opinion. But also, like, the aesthetic design. The Imperial Daleks have, like, flat disc-like lights, which is really cool. Their eye stalk is gold. Everything's gold on them, and it's, well, except for their primary color, which is white. And I think the white and gold just looks so good to each other. The eye stalk, you can barely see the stupid pupil on it, and even then, it looks so good. Like, I love the Imperial Dalek design. Accompany that with the more bulkier look the Remembrance of the Daleks had. Imperial Daleks are definitely up there as some of my all-time favourites. Like, not as good as the Red Commander Dalek, but still a very good-looking Dalek design. I love this Dalek, and I love the look of the Special Weapons Dalek. The Special Weapons Dalek is a very unique Dalek, and it has appeared quite a few times now. It's a shame we never got more, like, future variants of the Special Weapons Dalek. A Time War one or Paradigm one. It would have been interesting to see. But for its one-off appearance, say one-off, it actually had a few more appearances. It did a great job, and, how can you not love the Special Weapons Dalek? I think it is a great Dalek. Do I put it in S tier or do I put it in A tier? I'm going to put it in S tier just because I do like the Imperial Daleks. I think the Imperial Daleks, like, when you think of, like, the Daleks reminiscing about or being based on, like, Nazis and, white supremacy and what have you, the Imperial Daleks really suit that, and they're just so gorgeous. I love the Imperial Daleks with a passion. They really are some of the best looking Daleks out there. It's a real shame that we only really got the white gold Daleks twice. They should have appeared more. They really should have. The next two Daleks are interesting because one is from the cancelled 30th anniversary, which would have featured an alternate dimension Dalek, which had this platform and these big heavy weapons, and I think it looks pretty cool. The colour scheme, once again, I'm not really a fan of the colour scheme, but it looks pretty cool for what it is, but it's also not really canon. Like, it's never officially appeared in Doctor Who, and it's hard to rank this one, so I'm just going to put it right in the middle. As for the Curses of Fatal Death, this is also a non-canon one, but holy shit, this design looks so good. Like, this is a Supreme Dalek that looks awesome, I remember from one of the audiobooks, they said how, one of the Imperial Daleks, or one of the Supreme Daleks, was a black and gold one. And this is what I picture would have been the Imperial Supreme Dalek. Although, I guess if they wanted to go away from that dark colour scheme with the more brighter colour schemes, I doubt it would have been black. But nonetheless, he is such a gorgeous looking Dalek. Again, this is just such a really nice looking Dalek. I know I'm just repeating myself here, but I think for Supreme Dalek, even though it's from a spin-off, it looks good. It looks really good. I'm going to put it probably just... Actually, I might put it a little bit higher there. So, on to the modern era. And the modern era is pretty boring because most Daleks are all the same, but let's talk about the Time War Daleks. The Time War Daleks, now, when they first appeared, I loved them. And I still do love them. The changes to the design are so significant, but also so subtle. Like, the eye stalk has, like, a guard on it, which looks so much better than the eye stalk just being... looking like a prop. Let's be honest, how the eye stalks on the old Daleks looked pretty goofy, but this having the eye guard makes it look like a proper, like, machine, a tank almost. And I love the changes they made to, like, the midsection with the bars. They got, like, these nails in, and they decorated it in such a way that it looks like it's been constructed. You can tell this thing has been made as it is. And even like the orbs around the side, they have this little black bit around the sides of it. Like, all these subtle changes, let's be honest, the Time War Daleks are phenomenal. The only problem is they've been overdone. Like, they definitely need to be retired at some point. But future Dalek generations really do need to adopt that look. It's going third. However, when it comes to the variation, the Imperial Time War Dalek, which is reminiscent of the original, where the black tops, I do not like the look of them. I think the black and the bronze doesn't clash well, in my opinion. There is another type of Dalek, but it's not on here, which does look a lot better, where it is black and it's just got gold orbs and gold details. But as for the black top with the bronze body, it doesn't look very good. I'm not a fan of the Imperial Guards for New Who, I won't lie. I'm going to put them I'm going to put them right at the top of D tier. Just because I just don't think they look good. And it is literally just the colour of the top bit, but, it's the same with the audiobooks, really, because they have, like, different, like, colour tops. Like, they have the red tops, and the red tops don't look very good on the Time War Daleks either. They just don't. However, speaking of black Daleks, you have Dalek Sec, and Dalek Sec looks amazing. I love the look of Dalek Sec. It's the only proper black Dalek in Doctor Who, and it looks great. I actually, I'm going to say this right now, I actually prefer the black colour scheme on the Dalek than the bronze. I've always envisioned the Daleks have black and red, because if you're going to go with the whole Nazi theme for the Daleks, they're basically intergalactic Nazis, they want to exterminate everyone and everything because race superiority and what have you. Why not just make them red and black and red? A little bit on the nose, but then again, but I don't know. I've always, that's how I would envision them. Like a Dalek Sec Dalek with red orbs and maybe red bars and all that. That's how I'd envision them. But my design is different. And speaking of red, the Supreme Dalek. This is one gorgeous Dalek. So the Daleks, they believe in race superiority. They believe that they are the greatest race of them all. And we all know that the Daleks, whenever they are in real life or anywhere for that matter, when it comes to superiority, red is often used as the high command, the royalty and all that. And this looks like, a King Dalek almost, it's got that gold and red and it looks so gorgeous. I love the look of this, and it's unique as well. The big yellow, the big gold bars hook around the sides, the 3 light bulbs on the top, and they're all got this square bit underneath them. It looks so good. I absolutely love the Supreme Dalek. That is probably one of my favourite Daleks ever. In fact, it might be, up there with the other red Dalek. Like I said, I'm a sucker when it comes to red Daleks. And you know what else I really like? The Ironside Daleks, that's what they're called. The one-time appearing Daleks. Jeez, I can't speak. Which are basically this military green Dalek. And once again, this is such a great looking Dalek design, which I think to myself, if you're going to update the Daleks, why not go with that? A sort of army green look for them. Make, really, hits it on the head that these are tanks. I love the Ironside Daleks. I actually think they're really good looking Daleks. And I think they would have been a great improvement had they actually gone with that instead of the Paradigm. By God, everyone loves to hate the Paradigm Daleks. The Paradigm Daleks are interesting because I don't really care about Daleks being colourful. Because, red Daleks are always seen as Supreme Daleks or High Command. We've seen them loads of times now. We've seen white and gold Daleks, which look phenomenal, and the Imperial Daleks. And we've seen blue Daleks. And arguably yellow Daleks as well. But My God. What went wrong with these designs? There's several things. For one thing, the rings around the neck. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I don't like the midsection at all. I don't like the return to the blocky look of it. I don't like how the gun is gigantic and it's basically the same size as the plunger. I don't like the hunchback look. I don't like how the back is missing the orbs and it's got this, weird like thing which initially was meant to, have weapons like come out and, change the main Dalek pod. However, I do like the fact that they brought back the bumper cart design, and I love that bumper cart base. I keep saying design base. And the colour schemes aren't bad. I'm going to say that right now. They aren't dreadful. I think, having that colour coordination for like the different classes isn't a bad idea, but this was way too unsubtle, And I feel like they kind of did it the wrong way, if that makes sense. Like, I would have made the red Dalek the Supreme Dalek, continue that, regalness of the Supreme Dalek. Make the white Dalek the drone. They would have looked great. I don't mind the blue Dalek being the scientist. I think that looks decent, in my opinion. As for the other two, the orange and the yellow one, the Eternal and the Strategist, I think. I just get the Strategist and Scientist long way round. I don't see the purpose of making them different colours. Like, if the Eternal Dalek was like this mysterious Dalek that the Daleks are looking for because it's got some big secrets and it was like this main plot line and you would have found out where this Eternal Dalek is and you would have seen it and it would have been fine, but instead they just brought it out and said this is the Eternal Dalek and it's got a big secret, and they never went into detail what that big secret was. As for the orange Dalek, I think it actually works well with the silver colour scheme, I won't lie, but it's pointless. It's kind of a pointless Dalek. Honestly, the Supreme Dalek looks great, I will say that, but of course, the hunchback design doesn't look very good. I'm just going to put it just there in the midsection. I don't mind the drone look, but the red looked awful. And as a result, I'm putting it right in D tier. Same with the blue. The blue Dalek isn't too bad either, but again, the colour seemed... That's the problem. The colour seemed too blocky. The orange Dalek, again, I don't think the colour scheme was that bad, but it was kind of pointless. The Eternal Dalek, they never used it at all. Like, I'm just going to put them basically 1D tier. However, the not stratagem, the Paradigm Daleks did have another appearance, and that was in Silent the Daleks. Unfortunately, this was their second and last appearance. And it's a shame because I think they really improved the designs here, and I think they improved them massively. For one thing, the hunchback design has sort of been decreased slightly. I mean, they still have the issue with the midsection, the neck section. But they also changed a bit of the colour scheme for the red and the blue Dalek. The red Dalek looks stunning. If you've seen some of the photo shoots involving the drone Dalek, or officer class Dalek as it's now known as, the chrome red looks gorgeous with the silver. It looks genuinely really good looking. And yeah, it's a shame they're not going to be using them because it looked good. And the blue chrome as well looks gorgeous as well. Like these two actually improved a lot. And it's really subtle appearance changes. And yeah, I actually would rate them. I'd rate them pretty highly. I'm going to say that right now. How highly? Just that high. Because I really do think it's amazing what a slight change to the colour scheme and, design manages to do. It manages to make something that doesn't look very good look really good. And that's what I think about when it comes to the chrome look for the Daleks. It's a shame we don't see them more. I feel like the problem is I feel like Moffat kind of pussed out a bit. Like, you couldn't handle the criticism, so he just got rid of it all. And instead of just, let's just keep using it and using it. And if people still don't like it, then yeah, we'll change it. But it's usually kind of pushed out. But we have more Daleks, because Moffat loved using the classic Daleks in several of his stories. And these classic Daleks are classic in quotation marks because they're basically Daleks that are given a slight redesign, in the sense they have like a blue base as opposed to the grey-white base. I actually quite like the blue base. I don't mind it. I don't think it's as good, though. I will say that. And as a result, I do think that it does sort of falter slightly. So much so that I'm actually going to put it down into A tier. I do think the Imperial Daleks look great, even though they weren't guarding any Emperor Dalek, which is kind of silly. These Daleks, though, they're going probably in F tier. The reason why is because of the position of the lights. The lights are like devil horns almost. It looks stupid. Don't like that one. And as for this Dalek, I don't know what this Dalek is for. I tried looking it up and I genuinely couldn't find anything about it. He's just an extra Dalek. But on to the Chibnall era. Now, I don't like the Chibnall era at all. I don't like the 13th Doctor's stories, but to give credit where credit is due, the Dalek stories aren't that bad. Like, I don't mind Resolution. Revolution is a bit dumb. And obviously, Eve of the Daleks had a great idea, but they dumbed the Daleks down for the sake of plot convenience. Well then, and in these first two stories, and of course the third one as well, in fact, you know what, let's make that Silver Dalek, pretend that one's the Executioner Dalek, but nonetheless, the Rusty Dalek, which is made of scraps, I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind the fact that the Dalek sort of like put together a bunch of scrap and made that Dalek. It's not pleasant, but it's not dreadful. I'm just going to put it in D tier. What is dreadful, on the other hand, is the drone Daleks. I really don't like these drone Daleks. Like, even taking into account these are based on human interpretation of what the Daleks should look like, they look awful. Like, they look really goddamn awful. Like, if you're going to make a security drone, surely you'd make it a lot less gappy, a lot less skeletal in structure. I really don't like the drone. I'm actually going to... It's not as bad as the bottom ones, but it is bad. And the Silver Dalek right at the bottom here, the one that I'm just going to pretend is the... Because I don't know the identity of this Dalek. I think they might have added an extra Dalek by accident. But this extra Dalek, let's pretend this is the Executioner Dalek. The one with the sort of Gatling gun, ray gun. That actually looks pretty good. I won't lie. That actually does look pretty decent. Unfortunately, they missed pretty much all their shots. And I do not like them as a result of that. But I'm going to put them up here. They're okay. So, that is my Dalek tier list. You may agree, you may disagree. It depends. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this ranking. What's your ranking of the Daleks? Maybe you agree, maybe you completely disagree. Maybe you have something completely different. Nonetheless, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.